A game made by Team Silent, a group in Konami Computer Entertainment, often being compared to the Resident Evil series. The game follows Harry Mason as he searches for his missing daughter in the eponymous fictional town of Silent Hill. This is Old Game Rise, the original Silent Hill in-depth examination. At first, to me, Silent Hill was a Warcraft mod, and that was the first time I heard the name Silent Hill. Also, whoever made this mod, they did a great job making it extremely horrifying. Anyway, the objective of the player is to guide character Harry Mason through a monster-filled town as he searches for his lost daughter, Cheryl. Silent Hill's gameplay consists of combat, exploration, and puzzle solving. The game uses a third-person view, with the camera occasionally switching to other angles for dramatic effect in pre-scripted areas. This is a change from older survival horror games which constantly shifted through a variety of camera angles. Because Silent Hill has no in-game UI, the player must check the inventory menu to see Harry's health, or if a DualShock controller is used, a heartbeat rhythm can be felt signifying that the player is at low health. Harry confronts monsters in each area with both melee weapons and firearms. Because developers made Harry's design look like an ordinary man, he cannot sustain any blows from enemies, and gasps for breath after sprinting. His inexperience in handling firearms means that his aim is neither reliable without focus after each shooting, nor can shoot targets from far away. Therefore, the player's targeting of enemies is often unsteady. A portable radio collected early in the game alerts Harry to the presence of nearby creatures with radio noise. Team Silent wanted the player to embrace the aspect of fear, believing that what you know is there but you can't see is the most effective way to shake the player. Therefore, the concept of the radio was born. The player can locate and collect maps of each area, stylistically similar to tourist maps, accessible from the menu and readable only when sufficient light is present. Each map is marked with place of interest. Visibility is mostly low due to the fog and darkness. The player locates a pocket-sized flashlight early in the game, but the light beam covers only a small area. Navigating through Silent Hill requires the player to find keys and solve puzzles. Puzzles also offer a nice change of pace from an intense part, making the player calm down and to become more vulnerable for the next section. This is probably why action-based horror games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil come with many puzzle sections. Likewise, these two games have many similarities, but the main difference we can point at in comparing Silent Hill with Resident Evil is that Resident Evil is more focused on gameplay aspect than its straightforward story elements. However, Silent Hill has its psychological horror mixed with its mature storytelling. Silent Hill used real-time 3D environments in contrast to the pre-rendered environments found in Resident Evil. Fog and darkness were heavily used to disguise the limitation of the hardware. Along with the grainy textures, also from hardware limitations, most reviewers felt that these factors actually worked in the game's favor. Francesca Reyes of the IGN described it as adding to the atmosphere of dilapidation and decay. In using 3D environments, however, controls became an issue, and in tougher areas, maneuverability became an exercise in frustration. Edge selected it as runner-up for the gameplay innovation award. They stated that while other games attempted to hide the PlayStation's visual inadequacies, Konami used its draw distance deficiency to chilling effect by draping atmospheric fog about the place. Silent Hill had deep development history. The developers of Silent Hill had much artistic freedom because the game was still produced as in the era of lower budget 2D titles. Eventually, the development staff decided to ignore the limits of Konami's initial plan, and to make Silent Hill a game that would be appeal to the emotions of players instead. For this purpose, the team introduced a fear of unknown as a psychological type of horror. The plot was made vague and occasionally contradictory to leave its true meaning in the dark, and to make players reflect upon unexplained parts. The game's joke ending came out of a suggestion box created to find alternative reasons for the occurrence in Silent Hill. The game contains several real-life references, particularly in characters' names. The names and designs of some Silent Hill creatures and puzzles are based on books enjoyed by Alyssa, including The Lost World and Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. Grey children are the distorted and disturbed perception of Alice Gillespie's classmates as seen through her eyes, reminders of torment and ridicule they abuse her with. This is supported by the Grey children's childish laughter whenever they attack Harry. They also resemble children in how they hug his legs as young ones occasionally do. They latch tightly to Harry and the player must constantly shake them off, possibly a symbol of how relentless Alyssa's bullying was. Unlike mumblers, Grey children carry knives which may symbolize how Alyssa felt her classmates were hostile and ready to attack her at any moment. Or since the Grey children are only available in North American release, this may be a reference to the American students carry around. Grey children are exclusive to the North American version of the game and do not appear in the European or Japanese version. They are instead replaced by mumblers in these versions as their appearance was deemed too similar to that of a child by censors. The larval stalker evokes memories of Alice Gillespie being bullied and teased during school, where she was told go to home and kill herself by her classmates. This is supported by their translucent nature, which can be seen as symbolic of Alyssa believing her genuine identity is invisible to her classmates, and instead is merely a source of darkness. Hence, the larval stalkers being of black coloration in their eyes. They also have a tendency to walk towards Harry and sometimes continuously pace around Harry, as if a child clinging to its parent. This could be representative of Alyssa yearning for comfort during her torturous youth, especially from her mother, something that is supported when Harry sees a flashback of Dahlia and her daughter in their home. In the original version of the game, they used to appear more distinctively and also allowed the player to attack them. In the end, the developers felt that attacking a non-resistant enemy was not such a good idea. Silent Hill has a way of creating emotional bond between the player and characters, then making players sympathize towards the characters or making the players sad by their fates. Harry battles the final boss, who after defeat thanks Harry and says goodbye. Harry collapses in sorrow over the loss of his daughter. Then he is seen bleeding from his head, unconscious in his car with the horn blaring, which suggests that everything that happened in Silent Hill was just a dying dream, conjured by the fading synapses of his dying brain. This ending is ironic, because at one point in the game, Harry foreshadows this by wondering whether everything that is happening to him is just a dream that he is having in a hospital after a car crash. This is the bad ending most players will probably get on their first walkthrough. Since there were no guides or quest tracker, most players would walk into the developer's designated path of playing the game. Because most players would feel unsatisfied toward game ending, they will replay the entire game to achieve the other endings. Bonus content. Aside from UFO ending, before release of the complete game, there were strange and shadier things in demo versions of the Silent Hill. First of all, instead of the fear of blood tends to create fear for the flesh, we see the following text in demo. According to SilentHillMemories.net website, demo version contains image of exposed Japanese demon on option menu for unknown reason. I guess it was for marketing reason. Also, disturbing image of Harry's body was on the hospital bed when saving or loading. Silent Hill was one of the iconic games in the gaming history. Without Harry Mason, neither there would be James Sunderland or Heather Mason. Before ending this video, please consider to subscribe to my channel if you are interested in old game analysis. Thanks for watching, see you next time.